AM, K292FQ Riverside, and K293CF Moreno Valley.
Oh, thank you for being on our show.
It's an honor to have you. We're really glad.
Thank you.
I just want to add right now, really quickly, that we will be opening up the phone lines later for anyone who might want to call in and have any questions for Mina or for us. And we'll go ahead and get started. Mina, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your family?
Sure. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have three beautiful children, one girl, two boys, ages 5, 3, and 9 months.
What are their
I'm
names?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yes, Malia, Tyrone, London the third, and then we have Tristan London.
Oh, cute
They're
names.
so beautiful, too.
Yeah, they are beautiful. I've seen them. They're beautiful. Pictures. They're beautiful.
Thank you.
So where did you grow up?
Los Angeles.
All right. You still out that way?
Los Angeles, California.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so I was also going to say, I'm sorry,
That's
I'm
okay.
also an author. I have 2 books. One analogy book that's called Phenomenal Women. It's a great book that I have with amazing women. We all share our stories on how, we overcame obstacles and made a way through life's most challenging times.
Yeah.
And then I have my children's book that I did alongside my daughter. She's 5. She's a published author as well.
Awesome.
So that's super exciting.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. We have your book here for anyone who's watching online. They can watch. We have it sitting right here, Dancing on the Moon.
Yes.
So exciting. And the little girl in the front, it looks like a lot like your daughter. Is she fashioned after your daughter?
Yeah, she's inspired by her for sure. She has like her personality. Yeah, she was the reason why this character was created.
That's so cool.
That's great. I love it. Can we go back a little bit and you could tell us a little bit about how you met Alyssa, the co-author here, I'm not author, my co-host here, and my daughter?
Yes, of course. So I met her at a rehab recovery center, and I was the nurse there. I was like distributing out the medications to the clients. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I met her there, and like we've been in contact ever since. She's just awesome.
Oh,
so
thank you.
Clicked,
so are you.
Yeah, we clicked right away.
Yep.
That's awesome. And can you tell us a little bit about how you got that position there and why you chose that field?
Yes, absolutely. So for starters, I would say that I've always taken like the caretaker position ever since I was young. I'm a big sister, so I always like looked after my younger siblings. My grandparents, they were like, very up in age, so I always like made sure they had everything they needed. And then I also worked with adults and children that had autism. So I've always had positions where I would help people.
Yeah.
So when I had got this opportunity to work at the rehab center, I was like, absolutely, I'll take it. Anything that involves like helping people, I was like all for it. And I was also moving from Fresno to Los Angeles at the time. So it was like a brand new beginning. I was just starting off fresh. So this was like the first job that came through, and I loved it. I learned so much by working there.
Yeah.
That's great. And how long were you with them?
I was with them for about 2 years.
About 2 years. Awesome. And I wondered, what did you think of the medically assisted treatment? Do you think that that worked out very well for the patients? I know that's something that Alyssa went through, so I always kind of wonder about that. Is that really useful, especially for the people that are trying to detox and come off of the opiates?
And also alcohol.
Oh, and also alcohol.
Yes, absolutely. I've seen so many people come in and they were like in excruciating pain. And after being there for a couple of days and having the right medication to help them like wean off, it made a big difference. Like it was almost like seeing a different person almost.
Yes.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
noticed that
Yeah.
too. Hmm.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
peeling
so
back the
it was
layers.
awesome. But of course, like medication with the counseling, the behavioral therapy, it all works hand in hand. You know, you
Yes.
can't do one without the other.
Right.
But yeah, but the medication definitely helps. Like I will always like recommend it because it's also so much safer to do it at a facility. So if you need anything, like we're hands on and we can kind of like work really fast to make you comfortable.
Yes,
That's
I
awesome.
agree
That's
completely.
awesome.
Did you see
Mhm.
any success stories when you were there?
I sure did. I've seen a lot. You know, you being one of them. Like I'm so proud of you and your show.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, and yeah, I still keep in contact with a few people. You know, and just seeing everyone just become parents, getting married. It's been so beautiful just to see.
Yes, yes, it's amazing.
And I know I had asked you before, when we have spoken before about frustrations, and I liked what you had to say because I had asked, were there times when you felt frustrated? And can you tell us a little bit? Do you remember when we talked about that?
Yes, I would say that I had got frustrated when I seen so much potential in a person
Mm-hmm.
and they decided that they wasn't ready for treatment.
Yeah.
And I just really wanted them to see their potential and that they can do it, you know? And I was just saying that you can't really help someone if they are not ready to be helped.
Nope,
So I
you're
think
right.
that was most frustrating, you know, just wanting it more than the person would want
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So, but you just have to wait until it's their time, you know, until they're ready.
I
Right.
heard that a lot in counselors who would call me about Alyssa when she would leave, when she would decide to leave, or her boyfriend that she was with would decide to leave the treatment facility. And I would get a phone call from the counselors, and I felt bad for them because I would be upset too. But for the most part, I was at a place pretty quickly where I just didn't have any expectations of her or of
Mhm.
any of it. I would pray and hope for the best, but I didn't have a lot of high hopes or expectations. I didn't allow myself to set myself up to be sad over it. But I think that sometimes I'd get a call from a counselor and they would be so upset because they're kind of in the thick of it. They're right there, you know what I mean? And they're dealing with
Right.
it, and I would think that would be such a hard position to be in, and you would have to kind of come to terms with the fact that you're there in their lives for this moment, and you're going to do the best you
Right.
can, and it's really up to them. But I
Yes.
would imagine it's kind of heartbreaking in some ways. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Especially when you like have a connection with someone, you know, and you're just like, you know, they become more than just clients. They're like your friend, or you know, because I was seeing some of these clients like on an everyday basis, you
Yeah.
know. So you develop like a friendship almost. So it was hard, but
Right.
you
And
just
then you see
can't
a
take
lot
it
of people
personally.
passing away as well, right?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was hard too.
Right.
Yeah, it's got to be awful. It's got to be. Um,
Yeah,
s-
yeah. No, it is sad. You know, you pray for their families and you know, but it was just a vicious cycle almost. You know, once people leave and you get a new set of faces on the board about new people that's coming in. So it was just like, you know, every day we were just seeing like new people and then the old people will either like graduate and, you know, go on with their lives and,
Right.
you know, so
You must have seen so
yeah.
many people come in and out of there.
I did, yeah. Yeah. I
was
remember at the time I was like pregnant with my daughter, like the last year I was there. And I couldn't think of any girl names, so I would like see like on the board the different names of like women that were coming in. I'm like, oh, that sounds cute. That's
So how
cute.
did you come about getting her name then?
Well, my husband ended up naming her, but it's funny because with my last son, Tristan, I actually seen that name coming into our facility at the time, and I just loved that name. So I actually, you know, I wouldn't say I named him after that person, but
Right, right.
they gave me that idea, like, this name is so beautiful.
Yep.
Alyssa loved that name. That was
That
going to
was,
be,
yeah.
yeah, that
I
was going to
said that
be,
for years. That's going to be my son's name.
yeah, when she was little, that was going to be her son's name. Tristan. It was always, yeah. And I got my daughter's name, Danae, when I was working at a group home. I saw that name, and that's how she ended up getting her name.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah. Well, that, and then I also worked with somebody named Lene, so it was kind of like, yeah, kind of a variation. But yeah, so
Yeah.
it's always nice. Um, so I was going to ask. Oh, you had mentioned. I'm sorry, I'm forgetful. You had mentioned about with the treatment. Sometimes you would have to call families and ask for money for medications. Are the medications very expensive, and are they not covered by insurances?
No, they're not. Well, actually, they are covered by insurance, but some people will come in without insurance.
Yeah.
So that's when we will have to like reach out to the family members to see how we can receive payment. And yeah, they were really expensive. They were really expensive.
Yeah.
So yeah, so insurance thankfully will cover a lot of it, and yeah, so that was the win-win. Whenever they had insurance, I could just shoot it right over to the pharmacy. But whenever I had to call the family, I would dread it because I never knew what I was getting. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
people burn their bridges with their families. Some families are super supportive, so you just never know what you're gonna get when you call someone's family.
Yeah.
You know what? I was thinking about that after we talked, and it's like I never got that phone call that I can remember about paying for medication. Maybe, I don't know, maybe once. I'm not sure, but I think that would be really hard because you want your person, your child or your family member to be successful, but sometimes it's like they've gone in so many times and you've given so much. It would be difficult. And being like a single mom and having Zoe, having Alyssa's daughter with me, I don't know. I was thinking like, how would have I handled that, or could I have afforded it?
Right.
I was blessed that
Right.
they allowed Alyssa to be there. That facility, Alyssa had Medi-Cal, and they didn't accept Medi-Cal, I think, and they allowed her to be there like on a scholarship. So that was really nice.
No,
Is
it's a
that right?
blessing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was one of the ones that's good that there's people out there that'll do that for the people. And I like that you said too that you understood when they would be upset and when the clients would be upset and frustrated. You were very understanding in that they're going through a lot and they're struggling a lot. You have a great heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because we're all human. We all have human emotions. I was saying, like, even, I would be grumpy myself if I didn't get enough rest or didn't get enough food so I
Yeah.
just wanted to treat everyone like they were humans and that no one was below me. Like, we're all the same. We're all trying to help each other out.
Right.
And yeah, that was like super important for me that I didn't want to treat anyone differently. I had an uncle that struggled with addiction and I was so young, so I couldn't really help him. But I just remember how people would treat him. Even when he was clean, sometimes people would treat him like he was still an addict. So,
Yeah.
sometimes that could be triggering for a person as well. So I just wanted to make sure I was very sensitive to what they were going through.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point because there's such a stigma around it. I had two uncles. No, I think I had three uncles that were addicts, and it runs heavily in my dad's side of the family, and I seen them be treated really badly, even by a police officer one time. Just came supposed to help my uncle, and just gave him a really hard time, and that was really sad to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I read a part, that quote about violence and neglect in your life. Was that in your childhood?
Your,
Yes.
Can you
where did
talk?
you read the
Yeah.
quote at, Alyssa?
Oh, it's a part of in the book, Phenomenal
Oh, okay.
Women. Sorry.
Well, let's talk
Yes.
about the book then a little bit, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So how did you, okay, we know it was like a collaboration between you and some other women. How did you get involved in that with the Phenomenal?
Women.
Well, it's so funny how this book came about because I had already wrote my chapter in the book. Like anything that I go through in my life, I kind of just write it out. Because sometimes, you can think about past experiences and it'll kind of put you in a dark place. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you'll get depressed about it. So my way of like getting it out and expressing myself is just writing it. And that's pretty much where this chapter came from. And so then the author of the book that created the visionary of the book, she presented this opportunity for me to be a part of the book. And it was just so amazing because I told her, like, I already have my chapter, like I already know.
God already had a
So,
plan.
yeah, exactly. So it was amazing how all that came together.
That's awesome. And when did that book come out?
So this book came out last year.
Last year. And so you have how many chapters in it? You have one chapter, and there's several women who have other chapters?
Yeah, so each of us have a chapter, and it's pretty long. It's a nice size chapter for us to like get the full story out. And yeah, it's pretty good.
Is it various topics, or is it just the topic of drug addiction or family members who are
or
addicts?
overcoming obstacles? What is it? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's women who gave up excuses and made a way through life's most challenging times.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's different women going through different things. And one thing I love about this book is I feel like everyone can relate to it.
Yeah.
It's something in here for everyone.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes. And I do, if you guys want me to read some of it, I can if you like.
Yeah,
Oh, sure, yeah.
definitely.
Go ahead.
Okay. So this is from my book, Phenomenal Women. Growing up with drug addicts, alcoholics, and in and out of jail family members was all normal to me. My cousins and I saw unbefitting things for a child, such as crack pipes in the backyard while playing. We would be restricted from playing outside for weeks because my uncle would be there on a rant with his disorderly speech, breaking things, taking showers with the water hose, or asleep in the backyard with his bag and pillow. It was best to stay out of his way whenever he got like that, because he would take his frustration out on you if you got caught in his crossfires. I always heard that no family is perfect, so I thought my situation was like everyone else's. Oh, was I wrong? Taught at a young age that you don't tell family business and that whatever happens in the house stays in the house, I silenced my voice to ask for protection.
Wow.
Ugh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That reminds me kind of Grandpa.
Yeah.
You.
that kind of hits at home for me, definitely.
Yeah.
That's hard. And the family business part especially. It's like, yeah, well, we know what's going on, but we can't be letting everybody else know what's going on. You have to, keep it quiet. It's family business. That kind of was a theme throughout my life, I think, to a certain degree, too. Yeah. That was deep. I appreciate you sharing your story. I appreciate you sharing that. That had to be hard.
No, absolutely. That was actually like the first time in this book that I was able to express myself without having, just people breathing down your neck like, oh, don't talk about this, don't talk about that, know.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time that I was able to really express what I was going through. And I know sometimes, like, I just wanted to give a different perspective, like what I went through seeing that. Because sometimes we only talk about, like, the addicts that's going through stuff.
That's
but
true.
Sometimes we forget about the people that's around that might, it affects us too,
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, for sure it does. As children especially, being told to keep quiet and don't do drugs, but yet you see other people around you doing drugs.
Yeah,
but,
mold your mind. It's just,
Yeah, it's definitely traumatic and traumatizing to kids.
You've come so far from that.
Yeah.
And that's it too. Sometimes people don't realize, because you're so good at hiding it, we become so good at hiding things that they're like, oh, like, I never would have thought that about your family. I would have never, because, oh wow, like, and then it makes you feel bad, or you kind of feel like, I'm like giving them a bad reputation or whatever, and people in the family make you feel that way as well. Like, well, why are you talking about it? You know, we just all want to forget about it, and it's because
or pretend it never happened.
Pretend it never happened, yeah, because it is such a like
taboo topic.
Taboo, yeah. It's like let's sweep it all under the rug and let's don't talk about it. And I'm glad that you came out with that. And I like to write too, and I've always journaled, and that was it's kind of like it gets it off your chest.
It's a coping,
it's therapeutic, and I think it's a wonderful way to get it out there and not forget about your past and what happened to you.
Is that why you started writing your lifestyle blog, Love, Health, and Beyond, or Love, Health, Beyond?
Yes. Well, because I love sharing information that I've learned, anything new. You know, I used to feel that I would get on my family members' nerves or my friends' nerves with, like, oversharing any new information or, you know, life hacks and stuff. So I decided to just put it all in a blog. So whoever was interested, they could just go to my blog and check it out, you know. So it was fun. It was more like a passion project of mine for me to just still, you know, be creative, say what's on my mind at the time.
You had that in you, and it was trying to get out somehow.
Yeah, exactly. So it's fun.
Do you still have the blog?
Yes, I do. And you can actually find Phenomenal Women link on there. I have a post where I talk about the book a little bit, so you can definitely find the book from the website.
Awesome.
I lovehealthbeyond.com.
Awesome. Okay, I didn't know about that, Alyssa. You didn't share that with me.
I forgot.
I'm like, oh, this is great. I love that. That's great. Awesome. Yeah, I tend to talk a lot and overshare a lot. So I think I've often thought about writing a blog myself because I think people do get tired of hearing me talk. Sometimes, you know, it's like, okay, enough, Michelle already. You know, we've had enough of you.
Yes, go for it. It's so fun. It's really fun, and then you can just be creative, and you can go anywhere you want with it. You know.
What kind of topics are there on your blog?
A lot of food posts. I'm such a foodie. I love like good presentations. Like people just make food look good. So sometimes I run out of ideas of what to make. So you know, so it's just for anyone really, moms or anyone who just wants to make a meal. They can just go on there and get some ideas and stuff. Like I have different breakfast ideas.
I remember seeing your pictures. You have the cutest little breakfast things with your kids.
Yes, yeah, I like doing fun things with them because I have picky eaters. So sometimes I have to be creative with their food. So I'll make them look like little things, and they get all excited about it.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We can relate with picky eaters. Alyssa's an extremely picky eater.
And so is my son now, too.
So is her son. So she's getting it back. It's coming back around, and he's only 1.5, and he doesn't really like to eat much. It's like
we try.
He'll tell us no and hit the food and stuff. So
he'll take it from us and throw it across the room.
Yeah, he likes to chuck things around. You know, throw things around. So tell us a little bit about how you started out writing. Was it your daughter's idea to write the book Dancing on the Moon?
Yes, she's so cute. So she's like a little storyteller. She loves to create stories. So I noticed that it was something that she was doing every night with her brothers, where she's like, let's, you know, instead of reading a story, she would just start talking about all these like fairy tale things, just creating like a whole story to tell to her brothers. And then even her teacher told me one day that, you know, sometimes Malia will just be, you know, creating a story to tell to her friends. And her teacher will have to ask her, like, did that really happen? And, you know. So it would be so cute.
She's just like you.
I'm sorry, the phone was breaking up a little bit.
Oh, I said she's just like you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So I definitely wanted to encourage and let her know that, you know, we have something here. Like, keep doing that. That's so beautiful.
I love that.
I just wanted to plant the seed for her. Like, you know, she had already started, so I wanted to show her that her vision can come alive. And that's what we did with this book. It was just something that, you know, we were kind of just taking back off of each other and stuff, you know, and we created this this little book here.
And can you tell us a little bit about what this book is about?
Sure. So this book is to encourage children all around the world that they can be anything that they want to be, no matter how ridiculous it might sound. You know, you can do it. If you can dream it, you can achieve it.
Yep.
That's awesome. And that's what Zoe took away. We read it to Zoe, or I read it to Zoe. And,
My daughter.
and yeah, my granddaughter. And I bought one for her, and then I have one on the way for my granddaughter who's coming in May. I forget how to say it. How do
Alasia.
Alasia. Her name is hard for me. Alasia's coming in May. And
Oh, it's so cute.
it's cute, right? But I keep forgetting how to say it. But Zoe right away was like, I can be anything I want to be. When I grow up, I'm going to be anything I want to be. And she kept saying it. So I'm like, this is good because kids need that kind of inspiration. And sometimes they don't get that from their, the grown-ups in their lives. They might not be getting that inspiration. They might not be hearing that. So it's good. I mean, if they could read this in their classroom or in the library, or they picked up the book, it gives them an inspiration. It gives them motivation in life to be whoever they want to be. And also, not to be afraid. I liked how you have in there, like, don't be afraid to be yourself.
And look what your 5-year-old has authored a book.
Right?
Yes.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty
Yes,
awesome.
no, I love that. And the fact that she's 5, I think that is definitely so inspiring to other kids too, because we're saying you can be whatever you want to be, and then look at her, she's 5,
Yep.
and she's doing just that. So I think the book goes hand in hand with that, and I love that for her. So it's super exciting. We've been getting like really good feedback. And it just makes our heart smile because I'll read her the comments and she gets so excited.
Aw.
Yeah, we love looking at the pictures of the kids holding our book.
I saw those.
Yeah,
That's so
it
sweet.
gives me chills because I'm like, oh my gosh, this was once a dream, and now that it's actually happening is just so amazing to see.
Right, and people are sharing it like crazy.
Yes,
It's
yes.
taking off. You're doing so good.
Thank you. Yes, I'm super happy about that.
It's amazing.
And I love the characters. I love that we're seeing, that we're seeing African American characters more and more now. And it's, I'm finding that it's just so important. And everyone should be represented in books. Everyone should be represented on TV, every culture and every race. And I really love that this book is helping do that. I know when we were talking, thank you. And when we were talking earlier, you mentioned that you felt discouraged growing up, not always seeing people who looked like you. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So I just remember sometimes when I was younger, sometimes I'll just, I wanted to be so many different things. I never really stuck with one idea. And I just remember at this one particular time where I was very like energetic. I loved dancing and things of that nature. And I just remember like this older girl, she might have been in high school at the time, and she just gave me this look like, you can't do that. And I
Yep.
think if you would associate dancer, people will automatically think the wrong thing,
Yeah.
when you say the word dancer. But
I get what you're
as I've
saying.
gotten,
Yep.
yeah, and as I've gotten older, I've seen like people dance and become like extraordinary people, but I think that really discouraged me to where I was like, okay, I don't want to be that anymore. Like, because of how she reacted to that. So I think that plays a big part on like small children, that we just have to encourage them. Like if we find something that they're good at, then we should definitely encourage that, because you never know who they might become.
That's right. That's right. Encourage them. And also, I think it's great this day and age, they're talking about social and emotional wellness in schools. And that's really good because that's important. I mean, back when I was growing up, and maybe even Alyssa, we weren't hearing about that. We weren't hearing about bullying. There was nothing done about it. Nowadays, people are doing something about it. Teachers are doing something. The schools are taking these things more seriously. And I'm really impressed in some of the stuff that I see working in education.
There still needs to be more
with-
done, but it's
Yeah,
still at
but they
least
are doing. They're doing
starting.
a whole heck of a lot more than they used to. So I am glad to see the
Right.
social and emotional wellness and the things that they are doing in the schools to help encourage students' mental health and wellness, and taking those things more seriously than maybe they used to.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
Yes, I
definitely.
definitely agree.
Okay.
Do you want to take a quick break and then?
Oh yeah, Alyssa, do you want to talk about a little bit about the news story that we heard today? We'll take a quick break.
Yeah. I'm sure it's already. Everybody probably knows about it already, but I've heard it. Oh yeah. The Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins died at 50 of an overdose yesterday. I just thought I would share that, and since it's kind of relevant.
What did you hear about it as far as what happened to him?
He was in a hotel room in, I don't remember what, do you remember which country? Colombia. And they found him in a hotel room, and he had a bunch of opiates, heroin, antidepressants, alcohol, vodka, or beer, vodka, all over around the room. And yeah, they think he overdosed. And 3 days before, there's a little girl, a little 9-year-old girl, who her dream was to meet him. He was her idol, and he was out there on his tour, on a tour out there with I think with the whole band, and the little girl made like an online campaign because she wanted to meet him, and so she posted it online, and she kept having people sign it and stuff. And then eventually, I guess, I don't know if he got wind of it or what, but he ended up showing up, and she had her little drum set with her dad sitting outside of the hotel, and he came out and he met her, and then 3 days later
awesome.
he passed away.
Aw.
But yeah, it's so sad.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you said that at one point he had overdosed before.
Yeah, it's a few years back.
Was
Yeah.
it heroin?
Yeah, but
It was
okay, we
heroin.
should take a quick break. Yeah. Okay.
Radio has openings for 1-hour talk shows. If you want to host a radio show, now is the time. Make KCAA your flagship station. Our rates are affordable and our services are second to none. We broadcast on 3 terrestrial frequencies to a population of 5 million people. Plus, we stream and podcast on all major online audio and video systems. If you've been thinking about broadcasting a weekly radio program on real radio plus the internet, contact our CEO at 281-599-9800. 281-599-9800. You can Skype your show from your home to our Redlands, California studio, where our live producers and engineers are ready to work with you personally. A radio program on KCAA is the perfect work from home avocation in these stressful times. Just type kcaaradio.com into your browser to learn more about hosting a show on the best station in the nation, or call our CEO for details, 281-599-9800.
If you're ready for a Las Vegas vacation, here's an offer you can't refuse. The Vegas Travel Center is offering 3 days and 2 nights in Vegas free. Just call 909-406-7400. The offer includes accommodations with 2 free tickets to great Las Vegas entertainment with free meals. So if you're planning a trip to Vegas, you need to jump on this right now. Just call 909-406-7400. Obviously, an offer like this is not going to last. So call now, 909-406-7400 for your 3-day, 2-night Vegas vacation. That number again, 909-406-7400. Call now.
Women.
Thanks, Alyssa. I always mess it up. Phenomenal Women. The other is a co-authored children's book that she co-authored with her daughter, and it is called Dancing on the Moon. And
You can find these books on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Mina.
Hi, I'm here. How are you?
Good. Hanging in there. Do you want to read a portion of the book?
Just a small portion.
Sure, yes. Let's see here. My light is magical. I am one of a kind, so I shall always be truly me, no matter what anyone thinks of me. I could be anything that I dream to be.
So beautiful.
And that is the children's book, a little small portion of it.
That's
and
awesome.
It's definitely just encouraging children to dream big, dance big, think big. You can definitely just, if you can dream it, you can achieve it.
Yep, it's true.
That's awesome.
What are some of your goals and your plans for the future?
Well, I would definitely say to continue on with my writing. I feel like the more I do it, the better I'll get. Especially with the children's book. Me and my children, we do stuff like this all the time where we just be creative with each other and just tell stories. We paint to get our creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
So we definitely want to continue on with making children's books. With my middle child, I wanted to make a book especially for him. He has a little bit of a temper, and I want him to learn to control that and to breathe, and it's okay to have these big emotions. So I definitely want to create a book like this for him, because I know that there's other young boys that go through the same thing as him.
Yeah.
And I just want to channel that energy into something positive and, just be a voice for young children. I think that is so important, to encourage them.
Right.
So, and then, God willing, we can turn this book as well into something even bigger. We always wanted to do a short film.
Mm-hmm.
So, God willing, if this book would allow us to, create that, then that's definitely something that we want to do.
Right. That'd be amazing.
Awesome. If right now I'm going to go ahead and give the phone number for if any callers want to call in to speak with Mina. It is our local call-in line is 909-792-5222, and the non-local toll-free is 888-909-1050. That's 888-909-1050. And feel free to call in if you have any questions for Mina regarding her books or regarding her experience as a recovery rehab nurse. I had a question. I keep forgetting to ask you, Mina. When you were working as a rehab nurse, did you, what kind of drugs were you seeing as a nurse? I know it was a little bit ago. Were you already starting to see people come in who were addicted to fentanyl at that point?
Yes. So we've seen a large range of things like the Suboxone, Valium. We've seen what was another popular one? It was one that we used for anxiety. I'm trying to think of what it was called. It's been so long.
Xanax?
No, it starts with a C.
Klonopin?
But yes, that was
my
a
ex
super
took Klonopin.
popular one.
Yeah, my ex used to take Klonopin, and I was really clueless because you go to the doctors for something so what happened with him was he got really bad road rage, and he was just kind of he was
rageful. Period.
He was kind of a rageful person. So one day, it's funny because my dad was a rageful person. So my dad and him were out, and my dad comes back and goes, "You got to do something about him." And I'm like, "What?" And he said, "He's crazy. He's crazy." I'm like, "You're saying he's crazy? This is scary." To me, I'm like, "Oh no, something probably does have to be done." If my dad's saying my ex was crazy, so yeah, he's like, he has bad road rage, and he pulled somebody over on the freeway and tried to yank him out of their car. I'm like, "Oh Lord, have mercy." So, we didn't have insurance at the time. We were pretty poor. We were still fairly young, I guess. And I said, what do I do? And so I got a hold of this doctor, and we went and we just paid out of pocket, and he got him on this thing called Klonopin. Well, I didn't know anything about it, but turns out that it's a benzo and that it's really addicting. But
he was on it for years.
I had no idea. And then the doctor kept trying to increase his dosage. Every time we go back, "Oh, you need more. And it was to the point where he would take it and he'd become more angry, or he'd become emotional and almost crying. And then he just started trying to wean himself because it was making him so out of control that he would cut it, just to little slivers but it was interesting to me that the doctor, who you think would know better, was just increasing the dose. And then I come to find out later that everyone called him Dr. Feelgood. So there's
a lot of doctors
that,
surprisingly. I've met a lot of them in certain treatment facilities that were just like that. They would give you anything you wanted.
That's so scary.
Yeah.
That's
no,
scary.
absolutely. And one thing I loved about this facility that the doctors were like far from that. You know,
Yes.
sometimes we would get people that came in and they would like exaggerate their stories just so they can get certain medications.
Yeah.
And our doctor would see right through that. They'll be
Yeah.
like, it's no way that they could be doing all this and still standing talking to you. Like, you know, so
Yeah.
sometimes they would have me fooled, you know?
Yeah.
They're trying to kill themselves right there, I guess, with all the drugs. That's
Everything
crazy.
yeah. A lot of people
Yeah.
do that because they want to get something extra so that they can be high in the facility.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yes.
I've seen a
So,
lot of that too.
Have you?
Mhm.
Yeah, that sounds scary to me. It's like when the fentanyl dealers lace the cocaine with fentanyl or something. It's like,
Oh yeah.
what are you thinking? You're going to kill someone
That
and,
just
and going
happened.
into
They
a
almost
rehab and
killed
lying about how
7 people recently in a military academy.
it was West Point.
Yeah. 7
Yeah.
kids that thought they were just doing cocaine just for, a party or something, and they all ended up overdosing on fentanyl because it was laced.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's very crazy because I don't understand it at all. But yeah, that's why I asked, because I know fentanyl has become like such a popular topic now, and we're hearing more and more about it on the
Which
news.
is good, though. We need to talk about it
Oh, we
more.
do. Oh, definitely.
Mhm.
Definitely. But
Yeah, because when I was working at the facility, I didn't even see any of that. So I can imagine now that they probably have more cases on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you currently, or are you currently working on any other books, or do you plan on writing more books, or maybe even with your kids?
Yes, yes. So I definitely feel like this book, Dancing on the Moon, is dedicated to my daughter. So I also want to create the one for my 2 sons, you know. Yeah, I have some, like, a couple of things in the works, still brainstorming on ideas, but I do have one book that's in the works where it's like big brother, little brother, that I'll be
Aw.
dedicated to my sons.
cute.
And yeah, I'm definitely excited. You know, I'm all about, I just want to create a legacy for them,
Yeah.
you know, for stuff that will live on, like when I leave this world, that their work will still be here, you know, and it will live on and it will continue to encourage, you know, more children because, you know, when Malia gets older, she can still promote this book as long as she wants, you know.
That's right.
You're such a great mom. That's so
That's
sweet.
awesome.
Thank you.
I love
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
So just another question. What kind of things inspire you? Yeah, just in your day-to-day life, but also in writing.
Well, my children for sure. They are my biggest inspiration because I don't think that I would have done any of this without them. You know, sometimes I had like ideas of, even when I was younger, I used to always say like, oh, I want to write a book about my life because there was so much happening around me that I always wanted to create a book. But it wasn't until like I started having children that I was like, I want to be somebody, you know, I
Yeah.
want to be someone that they can look up to one day or say, hey, my mom did this or my mom did that, you know.
I love that.
Yeah, they are my biggest inspiration. You know, I didn't have the courage to do it before them because I was always too worried if it would be good enough or, you know, you just worry about all the wrong things. But I felt like once I had them, I had to lead by example. You know, I can't tell them that they can do all these things and then they look at me and say, you know, you didn't do it. You didn't
Yeah.
do that, you know?
That's
So,
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
yeah, so I just wanted to lead by example.
Can you tell us? I love that in this day and age, people can go out and they can promote their own books and they can write their own books and have them published. How did you go about it? Did you do self-publishing or was it through some other way?
Yes, so for the children's book, I did decide to do self-publishing. And for me, that was like the best route because I just love being able to just push my own work. And, you know, you don't have to be like on anyone else's timer, like, okay, we're going to promote this day, or you have to do this and that. Like, you know, someone giving you a full schedule.
Yes.
For me, I sell as many books as if I promote that day, you know, if I keep pushing my book and sharing the link and talking about it, I feel like I'll make more sales. But if I decided the next day that I want to just, take the day off and, just focus on something else, I'm able to do that without the added pressure, I would say, or feeling like you have to do this and that. So I think the self-publishing for me was like the best route.
Yeah.
And we were talking also about your Illustrator. We thought your Illustrator
So
was
beautiful.
really good. Can you tell us a little bit about how that story? I liked what you had to say about the first Illustrator kind of didn't work out.
Yeah, so with my first illustrator, he created a couple pictures for me, and I was trying to give him tips on like the route that we were trying to go. We wanted our character to basically kind of fit in with the whole Disney World type of theme. Like, we
Yeah.
wanted to be able to like see her on TV. And, I loved his work, but for some reason his images wasn't really speaking to me. So when I would ask certain questions or wanted updates, we couldn't seem to find like a common ground, it seemed like. So I had already made a deposit and we decided to like split ways.
Yeah.
And I was so disappointed because my goal was to like have the book out last year, and I felt like I was so disappointed. And then I just didn't give up. I was like, this book is going to happen. I've already said that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm doing this for my daughter. And so I just kept looking. I kept looking, and I joined every Illustrator group on Facebook, like everyone that I could find. I joined the group, and I was just like, watching other people post their work, and I came across, my illustrator, and she was just so amazing to work with. Like I couldn't have asked for anyone better. She was just so awesome. She kind of just walked me through it because she knew it was like my first time. So I felt like she gave me so much knowledge, and I'll take that knowledge into like my future projects that she gave me. And yeah, she created this masterpiece. I feel like,
So
every time
beautiful.
someone sees the cover, they're like so excited,
Yep.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah,
beautiful.
so I was just so thankful, and and now I see why it didn't work out with the first illustrator.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that, exactly. And I like that about you because it's like you didn't give up. You said you were going to do it. You're letting your yeses be yeses and your noes be noes, and you're doing what you said you're going to do, regardless. And also, you're standing your ground. And I like that.
Right.
I like that too.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Is there someone in your life that you can attribute that spirit to, that like never give up? Do you have a hero or anyone like that in your life that you can think of that's
Or
that
were
you
you
get?
just like the first one to
Or-
come out and just
Or is this
persevere?
just something? Yeah, is this something that's just in your personality?
You know what? I can say that my uncle definitely helped. Like I've just seen everything that he's been through, and he's also a writer. He does poetry. He has a couple of books out. His name is Steve Champion, and he's been through a lot, and he still works very hard, and that inspires me, a lot, that, he can still overcome so much, and he still pushes out work, and,
That's awesome.
yeah, he's definitely very encouraging person in my life too. Anything I wanted to do, he would just tell me, just go for it. You can do it.
That's awesome. We all need someone in our life like that. Whether it be a family member or a teacher or someone, it's good to have somebody out there rooting for you and pulling for you. And even if someone ends up in rehab and has no one, I mean, you were there. You were there to give them encouragement, and that's just so important. It really
Yes.
is. Yeah. And
Absolutely. Yes.
Do you want to share the your links?
yeah, we're getting ready.
Yeah, it's getting close to time.
Yes, absolutely.
3
So
minutes.
Phenomenal Women is available on my blog at www.lovehealthandbeyond.com. Also, Dancing on the Moon is available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. My IG, if you guys want to chat or have any more questions or just keep up with what I have going on, you can find my IG at Love, Health, and Beyond. I also have a book page for Dancing on the Moon. That IG is Dancing on the Moon 2022.
Awesome. Yeah, we're so happy to have you. Thank you so much
proud
for coming.
of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if you ever have any updates or you ever want to come on and just say hi, you're always welcome. So get a hold of us. We would love to have you back again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
This
so
was
much,
great.
Nina.
Thank you for making me feel so comfortable.
Oh, awesome.
Thank
yeah,
you for
thank you
making it
coming.
easy for
yeah,
us,
you made
too.
it easy for us, too. Thank you for all you've done for everyone. And hang in there and keep being phenomenal.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you for listening to KCAA Radio, 1050 AM, 102.3 FM, and
106.5 FM.
thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
Emma Mo